at that time.
Yeah.
Nothing else mattered.
Yeah. And you almost don't know how to feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just all held each other and cried. And then it's so harsh to say it, but you got to keep going. You still got a job to do.
Yep. That's hard.
And so the sergeant was like, look, this sucks. We're all hurting, but we got to get going, get yourself together. We got to keep pushing on.
Yeah.
And then again, hearing when we had to go back there for not so much a funeral, but a memorial, we go and we pay our respects while they take the casket to the plane to fly it back home to the family. And, they play the taps and all that. And it's just surreal and it's very sad. And when you're in uniform, you can't, you try not to show emotion because you're not supposed to.
Right.
But it's, very emotional. And it just seemed like it was business as usual. After that, we had some downtime, like a week or so, where we didn't really go out or do anything because we just really needed to cope in our own way. But after a while, it was back to business as usual, going out, but we never went out again just to go shopping, or we had to have a reason.
For sure. Yeah.
So we of course, that brought us all together again as well. And it wasn't the last memorial we had to attend, that deployment. But when we got back, we were able to take some leave, some R&R.
Yeah.
And at that time, like I said, Richie was a commo guy, so he was really close with Sergeant Gambrell. And when we got back, me and Sergeant Gambrell and one of the lieutenants that was in his unit, we drove to Philly to meet his family and visit his grave. And his family is great. That's how I met Kevin, through his father, Mr. Hooker. And
okay.
Yeah, so I know him because of Richie.
Oh, wow.
And still to this day we think about him, and every time I talk to Kevin or his dad, and I just get all these good memories of how crazy the dude was.
Yeah, sure.
But it kind of really helped me get some closure to my feelings about it.
That had to feel really amazing, just to see the people that he communicates with, communicated with, and see how loving they are towards him, and that's just got to feel really cool.
Oh, it definitely. And they treated us like we were the family,
Yeah, that's great.
And we just shared stories about the good, funny, silly stuff, and gave them some pictures that we had taken while we were in Afghanistan, and because we did try to do some fun stuff too. We had little barbecues, because I was a cook and my friend Bernabe was a cook. We would go and just kind of tactically acquire some ribs or something, and we'd have a barbecue and drink non-alcoholic beer, and smoke Cubans because you could get them there, and just be silly, you got to have fun sometimes too. So it wasn't all crazy, but when we got back and we got out of our units and everything, we got put back in the DFAC, and that's when I actually got to do my job for once.
Yeah.
Wow.
Finally cooking.
Yeah. But that's also when I found out that my back was messed up. So I guess all those times going out on those roads that have been blown up by IEDs and driving 60 miles an hour over those bumps and slamming back down in my seat really took a toll on my back. So
yeah.
I ended up getting medically discharged because I have herniated discs and a couple bulging discs in my lower back, and degenerative disc disease now.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot.
So I pretty much have chronic pain every day and, have to take a small pain medicine to get through my days.
Alleviate,
Yeah. I'm able to function pretty well, as a normal type person.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that it wasn't worse. I could be in a wheelchair or something, but I'm still able to function normally. So, but yeah, I didn't realize how bad it messed me up until we got back. And it was a couple years later that I just kind of lost it again and fell into depression and just was angry all the time about everything, and I would go from happy to irate in like 2 seconds and over the littlest things. And that's when I decided to finally go to the VA and talk to a doctor, and they had me get evaluated for PTSD, and yeah, I have the PTSD, and it's weird because looking back on it, I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything extraordinary or anything different than anybody else would have done.
Just seeing what you saw, yeah.
Yeah. And not all just from the Army too, and my past previous experiences.
There could be PTSD just from your relationships,
Yeah. And I met my husband. We got back in November 2011, and I met my third husband in December. And he wasn't what I normally went for. I actually went for a nice guy instead of like a...
You need to fucking figure that out.
Yeah, so it took me a while, but oof. Yeah. We're happy now, and we have a nice little life, and we both have good jobs, and
that's great.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy journey, but I wouldn't change it. It's made us where we are now.
Yeah.
And helped me build some friendships that I'll cherish forever. And
so was your new husband in the Army or?
Yes,
okay.
He was actually in my same company. Okay. He was a mechanic.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
He did 8 years, and he got out a couple months, about a year before I did.
Wow.
Yep.
Your story is amazing, and it's hard, it's tough, but then it's inspiring as well because here you are.
Yeah.
And
you've made it through.
What are you doing for work now?
Now I've actually I found out that my degree from Colorado was useless. So
really?
That sucks.
Yeah, the school I went to was a private school, and it wasn't accredited. So it's pretty much a $60,000 piece of paper.
Man.
That's so frustrating.
Shitty.
When I got back from Afghanistan and we settled here in Bossier, I decided to go back to school. So the VA hooked me up through the vocational rehabilitation program.
Yeah.
They sent me to get an associate's through Bossier Community College, and then I went to Louisiana State University of Shreveport and got my bachelor's. Yes.
There you go.
So I got my bachelor's in business management with a concentration in human resource management.
Yeah.
And now I'm able to help people and find low-income housing through our state housing program. So I'm a property manager.
See, that's awesome. Like,
that's good.
You have the desire to help people out and
to serve some other people.
You've been screwed over so many times, and you didn't let that change who you were as a person. And that's the most amazing thing to me. Like, when people can do that have been screwed over so many times.
Yeah.
And then still have faith that there's good people in this world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still a glass half full type of girl. I always try to find the good in every situation. So that's what's helped me get through a lot of things in my life, too. It's like, yeah, this sucks, but let me find one little thing that's good to help pull me through.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do that. Like we said at the first of this podcast, like, what was her other option,
Right.
And same goes for your attitude about hard things. Like, what's your other option? To lay down and quit and just not get any better. But yeah, you have to have that mindset.
For some of us, that's not an option. You know what I mean? Like that other option that you're talking about isn't an option.
No.
You're like, well, I only have one option, and that is to move forward and do better and be better and then give back.
Yep.
Right.
And it sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It sounds like you're like someone, well, I would, if you ever wrote this book into a book, I would definitely, be all over that.
Yeah, it would be a good, no, it really would be a good book, Sophie. I think you got a great story. And, you know, I mean, you could call it Iron Will. Because you definitely have an iron will with what you've gone through and what you've overcome.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. So what do you do now? Like, what do you do what I mean mentally, what do you do to nurture that part of your life mentally? Like, how do you keep striving to be better? Do you read certain books? Do you listen to podcasts? What do you do for inspiration and influence?
You know, it's just kind of off and on. I haven't really read many books lately. I just kind of like to get in my zone and listen to music, and I just put it on, you know, whatever floats my boat for that day.
Okay.
I really like Lindsay Sterling. She's a really awesome violinist that I love to listen to. But mostly I just try to surround myself with people who make me happy and who lift me up.
That's awesome.
And I still have my bad days where I don't want to get out of bed and I just sleep all day. And but I find myself so busy most of the time that I can't let myself get in my own head. And I recently just tried going back to the gym because I get defeated.
Yeah.
It hurts, and I'm always like, oh, I don't want to hurt my back worse, but I need to get in there and do something to be active. Yeah. So
even if it's just walking on the treadmill or whatever,
right?
Like,
and that's what I've been doing. I'm starting small, walking on the treadmill for 30 minutes and trying to do some kind of strength training for 30 minutes a couple times a week. I'm not trying to be a superstar right now, but
sure.
And walking my dog. I really love my dog. And,
what kind of dog is it?
He's a cur mix. Okay. So he has one blue eye and one brown eye, and he's a short hair kind of brown dog.
Oh.
And I kind of feel like he was put in my path on purpose because my mother-in-law lives in the woods, and a lot of people just kind of come and drop their dogs off out there, and they just find their way to her house. Yeah. Well, this dog found its way to her house when I was there, and, we just kind of bonded instantly. And I was like, I was like, awesome. This is my dog.
Yeah.
That's a great way to come across a dog.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
The
dog
you
finds
both need
you.
each other. And,
it's awesome.
So other than that, I just, I listen to y'all's podcast, and awesome. Kevin told me he's going to be starting up a podcast, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah,
that is good.
Yep.
That is great.
He did tell me he's going to be on again, and he's super excited.
Yeah. It'd be good to hear how he's doing and all that.
Yeah.
And that's back when we were trying for a half hour.
Yeah.
And so
we'll give him some more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has an amazing story too.
He's very inspirational to me too. And, so it seems like when he checks in on me, it's always when I need to hear from him.
Yeah, that's the thing about awesome. Kevin. Yeah. He always knows.
He's in tune, man. Yeah. He's in tune. That's awesome.
Yeah, so.
Well, your story is
awesome
amazing.
Too. I love this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome having you on. We want to invite everybody that's listening to like this, share it, subscribe, get these messages out to people so we can inspire more.
Oh, yeah.
These stories really are here as a platform to share, of course, so people like Sophie can share their stories, but to also lift and kind of help other people that are listening to it.
And even like people like Sophie get a lot out of them.
Yeah.
And but she's actually been through something hard in her life, and she can still give